So, the final episode in the second season of Take a Seat is all about entrepreneurship, risk-taking and building a brand from the ground up, and we're delighted to welcome our guest, Ben Cargill. Ben is a young entrepreneur and the founder of ROAMR Clothing, an independent streetwear brand launched in early 2026. Born and raised in Moneyfieth, Ben chose to leave school shortly before turning 16 and pursue full-time work with fellow chamber member Grey Events. Alongside his full-time job, and at just 17 years old, Ben turned an idea into a rapidly growing fashion brand that's now generated more than 1 million social media interactions and views across Instagram, Facebook and TikTok. In under a year, ROAMR Clothing has released 4 collections, expanded to more than 30 product variations and secured multiple partnerships. Today we'll be speaking about Ben's journey into entrepreneurship, how he built momentum online before launching the brand, the realities of running a business at a young age, and what the future looks like for ROAMR Clothing. We'll also explore the mindset behind the brand's message of no fixed path, and why more young people are choosing to carve out their own opportunities rather than follow traditional expectations. So, Ben, take a seat.
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for coming on. There's going to be lots of things I think we're kind of going to cover today, but how did you know being an entrepreneur was the route for you?
Ever since I was in primary school, I've always wanted to sort of own something. Like, it was more of a thing of I wanted to create something, and then ever since like joining secondary school and that business management, after taking that subject, it was sort of something that stood out to me. It was like the only subject I enjoyed in school. So when I was in primary school, like going into high school, I used to sell sweets and stuff, and then I just liked the idea of turning investment into money, like into profit.
Yeah.
It was something that really appealed to me. It wasn't for my sake, it was just because it was different. It wasn't normal to do that at that age. But it was something that, but ever since taking business management in school, I've just always known that I like it. It's something that just stands out to me as a person. So I just like the whole idea of investing money and then changing it into something and building from that as well, making something my own thing.
Yeah, I love that. And we've had in the job that I do in the business, getting the chamber events, we've had so many amazing speakers speak. People that have, grown huge businesses who are, really well known, I think. And lots of them talk about that. Lots of them talk about like a tuck shop or the kind of the part-time job they had when they were making money, while the rest of their pals were off just kind of doing something completely different.
That's
so
exactly,
when you're a millionaire, you could come back, come back and remind us that you talked about this on the podcast. I love it. So what about the brand's mission statement, no fixed path? What does that mean to you?
So again, going back to school, business management is my only subject that I really enjoyed. I went into school sitting in a class. I didn't enjoy writing down information on paper. I didn't enjoy that sort of idea of school. I kept on thinking to myself, am I really going to use this later on in life? Because I've always had a set sort of, not path, but I've always known what I've wanted to do when I'm older, whether that's create my own thing or build a career from that, like join the police or something like that, which is still something that I'm looking into. But it's not appealed to me going into school and just writing down things. And that's sort of where the idea came from, because a lot of people stay in school and they follow the educational route, there's nothing wrong with that. Especially there's certain careers that you need to stay in school, you need a degree and stuff, but the majority of times I don't think it's needed. I feel like you would build a lot more life experience and like people skills and everything like that out with school. I left school at 15, just finished my first exams. I got a couple in that 5 qualifications and then started a full-time job, and I think that's the best decision I've taken ever since. I just didn't like the idea of following the educational route because it wasn't for me, and it's probably not for a lot of people, but they don't realise that. It was just more of going to do my own thing, building all that experience, getting that beyond my belt out with school, and it's definitely it's helped a lot.
Sometimes the support you get in school maybe naturally leads you towards being steered into university or further studies. So I guess that inspiration you had with your the business that you were studying, was there then somebody like somebody within the school or within your family that kind of said, yeah, go for it, or did they all go, oh, what are you doing?
I think it was a mix. It was a mix, and to be fair, it was a mix of opinions from me as well. I wasn't fully 100% committed to just leaving because I didn't really know where it would take me. But 95% of it was like, I need to do this because it'll help me in the best way. Family and that, they were all supportive and stuff. My mum and dad were like, they loved the idea that I just wanted to get out of there, and they thought that was better for me as well as a person, because I just love speaking to people. So it suited me. And yeah, I think it was a lot of support I got from family and friends and that. But a couple of my pals in school were like, "What are you doing?" Because it was only me and a handful of people that left when I did. And there was a bit of me that goes, well, am I doing the right thing here? Because I felt like I was going to maybe distance away from my pals and stuff, but nothing like that's happened. It's actually gotten better. Life's just, yeah, it's gotten better from leaving school. It's not because school was bad, just because it was for me. I needed to do it. And yeah, nothing like that's ever happened. I've actually gained more friends leaving school, and yeah, so it's the outcome was good. So yeah, there were mixed opinions, but it was good in the end.
Yeah, and how about marketing and how that works with ROAMR? So yeah, talk a little bit about the marketing strategy and starting out.
So one thing that I probably took away from school was part of business management and marketing. It was sort of just built from ideas that sprung into my head. When I first started and released the idea on social media, I didn't actually have the product. I didn't have any clothes. I put my first order in for the samples and stuff, but I didn't have that to hand. So I was thinking, well, I want to get this out here, but I don't have anything to use. So I actually took to AI, and it helped. I kind of wanted to make the brand more of a secret thing that it would draw people's attention. It was more about the brand name rather than I'm way to sell clothes. It was more like, this is my idea, no fixed path, ROAMR as the brand, which did draw people's attention. And it was all just more about building that up to eventually, when I have my hands on that product, release it and go, this is what this is about. And it definitely worked. Using AI, I wanted to keep it local as well. So it was all about keeping it in Dundee, eventually expanding nationwide, but all about keeping it local. And part of the AI images that I created to post on social media, but while I was waiting on the samples, was covering the Law Hill Monument in like a black drape with the branding on it, which a lot of people actually believed. People came up to me and was like, "Is that true? Is that true?" Because when I'd done it, I posted it. The Law Hill was actually, it had scaffolding on it, so people were thinking, "Was that scaffolding to take the drape off?" Which I found it hilarious because people believed it, and it's something that really stood out. Definitely, like, it was talked about in things, and for something that was so new and small, the amount of attention it got was like a great amount.
And what lessons have you learned then through entrepreneurship and starting a brand?
A lot. Definitely, I think connection, speaking to people, getting my name out there is a huge thing. Again, I'm a people person. I love speaking to people, and that benefited me. It's something that I learned. Connecting to people, going out and doing things, or mentioning like, this is what I'm doing just now. Do you want to have a look at it? And people then have a look at it, and then that's when they go on the website and go, look, I might go and buy something. And yeah, it was basically just connecting with people that was my main thing that I learned from it that really helped. Just speaking away and explaining my story and stuff. Especially when obviously like there was a couple of articles posted in the Courier and stuff really early on, which helped. And it was all about speaking to the journalist and basically explaining to them, and then they were quite surprised and thought, I'm going to make a story out of it. And then and then social media and marketing then comes into that because everyone's speaking about it. So yeah, definitely connecting with people. That's one of the main lessons that I've learned.
Just get out and talk to people. Absolutely.
Literally. And discipline. Mental discipline as well.
And I think this kind of ties into this next bit, but I remember seeing this. So tell us about Check on Your Mates. What's that?
Yeah, so earlier on this year, and I think it was early April, a boy called Phoenix Burkett that I knew of. I didn't know him personally. I wasn't like good friends with him, but I've been on a couple of nights out with him at our age, our sort of friend, not our friend group, but our age group. And he sadly took his life to the Tay Bridge. So that was it was devastating, and I thought like, well, nobody knew about this. It just came out of the blue. And for someone, Phoenix was really well known, and he had a lot of friends behind him. His girlfriend was really supportive at the time. Like, I don't think the family and friends were aware of anything that he was going through. And it just made me stop and think, well, this could be happening with anyone that I know. And that was like what made me go, wait a sec. I had the platform there from ROAMR Clothing, quite a substantial following, and I thought, well, I can use this to sort of help and support Phoenix's family. So I then posted, I can't remember exactly how it came about, but I posted sort of an idea, or it was a post of an idea of sort of branding Check on Your Mates hoodies, which would then benefit Phoenix's family and support them. So 100% of the profits made from these hoodies that I would make goes towards Phoenix's family, and to support the sort of cause regarding the Tay Bridge and suicide and mental health in young people. So that got a lot of support, like an immense amount of support, and loads of people were behind it. I got hundreds of messages about when is this coming out. So I eventually done like a pre-order link where people could pre-order the hoodies. And when the hoodies arrived, I've actually got all my stuff in my grand's house. So I was sitting in upstairs in sort of my little office with all these hoodies with Check on Your Mates on them. I'm thinking, this is crazy how much it just happened so fast as well. Alongside that, there was a Just Giving page set up, so if people didn't want to buy a hoodie, then they can donate to the Just Giving page, and which will equally support, and it'll go towards the main amount of money that would be sent to the family. So from the hoodie sales and stuff, I think it was something like £3,200 was sent to Phoenix's family, and that supported the funeral and financial issues that the mum would be struggling with and stuff. And I actually developed quite a good relationship with the mum and the girlfriend, just from speaking daily, and the brother as well, just supporting them, because it took me by surprise. Someone my age, it just goes to show that nobody knows what you could be going through. So yeah, from that, I've actually changed the campaign, and I'm transitioning it into a charity, awaiting registration. So hopefully later on this year it'll be a registered charity. So some of that funding that was made from the hoodies has gone towards startup funding for the charity, and that was sort of agreed with Phoenix's family as well. And later on this year, me and like 17 or 18 of my own pals are doing the Kilt Walk in Dundee, and that'll raise money solely for the startup funding for the charity, so that we can. The main idea at the end of it is to go into schools and like work with the emergency services and work with the local campaign or community groups, and sort of reduce the stigma to do with not men's mental health, but mental health in general in young people, especially, and just coming up with like little activities and groups weekly and stuff.
So important, isn't it? And it's such a vital initiative. I think it's just making sure that you have these conversations, because you just don't know what somebody's going through, do you?
Exactly.
Yeah. My son lost his best friend last year, not quite the same way as Phoenix, but he took his own life, and it's just absolutely shocking, because there were no signals, no signs whatsoever, and certainly no sign of him kind of saying he was struggling. So
and that's exactly my main reason as to why I started it, is because I don't want that to happen.
No.
I want people to say, this is what's happening, and in that way they don't need to feel like that's all they've got left. They can use it with the support that hopefully me and people behind the charity, because I've got quite a lot of people that are up for helping me out, can do to sort of fix the issue.
Yeah. Just being open to talking about it is half the battle, isn't it? Yeah. So back to the vision for ROAMR Clothing. What comes next?
So quite a lot, hopefully. That's me on my 4th collection now. So the sort of achievement has been phenomenal so far. So my main sort of objective towards the end of the year, next year, is to do like pop-up shops, especially in Dundee again, but hopefully get it more nationwide. There's been a lot of customers from Dundee and Angus, but there's also been customers from Glasgow, Edinburgh, Aberdeen. It's been somewhat around Scotland. There was one that went to Norway as well, and a couple to England. So it's getting there, but I would want it to really I want it to be nationwide by 2027. And I know that's quite a far-fetched comment to make, but I'm sure it's doable because from what I've achieved from January to now is it's good, I think.
Yeah.
Main objective for the end of the year is to do pop-up shops and really get more. It's more about the branding, get the name out there, and make it sort of more of a nationwide thing.
Yeah, yeah. And you need a big goal, don't you? You need something to be working towards.
Exactly.
Yeah, something that's going to motivate you. Brilliant. Love it. Okay, so I know we could talk about that for ages, but one of the things we do with all our guests is we have a set of key questions based around the fact that we're here at City Key. So what is the best or the worst piece of advice that you've ever actually followed?
I'd say the best piece of advice is don't worry about what other people think. Just do it. Just get it done. Don't sit on it for too long, because the more you sit on it, then the more you're going to say, no, this is maybe not a good idea. Just do it.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about doing something like what I've done, or you are in sort of the same situation as me, don't like school, just leave. If you've got that opportunity there to go and get a job elsewhere or build your life experience up, whether that's even getting a job or starting your own thing, do it, because the more you think about it, the more you'll put yourself down. So, and that's how I've sort of started ROAMR. And to be fair, if I was to stay in school, I don't think I would have started the brand. I think it was more of a thing that I've developed over the past couple of years, like more of a life experience thing than anything else. And I think I wouldn't have started it if I stayed in school or followed the educational route. But the worst piece of advice is follow the educational route. That's obviously if you're working towards something like a career in like medicine or something, definitely go and do uni, because that's what you need. But if you don't know what you're wanting to do, or you're a bit confused as to what you want to do, then just do your own thing. You don't need to follow that route, because it's 9 times out of 10 you'll be really successful if you just do your own thing.
Love it.
So, yeah.
And what about a completely useless skill you have that you're secretly proud of?
Yeah, I think it's not a useless skill. My creativity is like, I sort of just go to bed and think of things and then wake up the next morning and go, right, let's make this happen. So creativity is not a useless skill. It's a skill, but I think I just come up with these weird and wonderful like ideas, want to make them happen, and eventually it does actually happen. It's just getting it to happen, and I think it's more of it's not a useless skill, but it is a useful skill. It's like a useless. I just come up with weird things, and then but it does happen.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I don't really sort of.
That's all right. And is there a habit that you've got that's made the biggest difference to your work life?
Yeah, 100%. Being in like a full-time job, as well as balancing my own business, I just trying to do one thing a day, even if I'm not feeling motivated at all. One thing a day to do with my business. Focus the rest on my full-time job, because that is the main thing. But if I'm not motivated, I need to do one thing, and that's sort of it's part of mental discipline as well. I've noticed that if consistency, even if it's a small type of consistency, just doing that one thing, whether that's social media, replying to an email, connecting with someone, just one thing a day really helps, because there's some days that I just can't be bothered, which anyone will feel that way, but I just make it happen. I need to do something to do with the brand once a day, and it helps, because well, if I didn't, then I don't even think it would be.
Well, and one little thing every day keeps you moving forward, but if you missed a thing, before you know it, you've missed a week.
Yeah,
or 2
exactly.
weeks,
Exactly
then,
that.
Yeah, so a really nice discipline. Yeah.
Especially when I'm not feeling motivated, I do that one thing, but then some days I'm feeling like so motivated and I do like 10,000 things a day. And it's just like, that's just sort of balancing life with full-time work, doing your own thing, and especially socialising with friends as well. I always try to keep time for family and friends. and that business and then full-time job. It's always, it's a mix between, it's a busy life, but it's good.
And now you're adding a charity into the mix. So
I know.
You just get all your pals
Exactly.
involved in that.
Exactly, yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
No
Well,
problem
it's
at
been
all.
a real pleasure having you on the podcast.
Thank you.
And getting the chance to hear more about ROAMR Clothing. It's definitely a brand, isn't it? You're building a
Yeah.
brand, so it's really inspiring. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed my time.
Thank you. So it's been super interesting to hear how Ben has built a successful brand at just 17 years old. From taking the risk of leaving school early to creating a growing business with a strong identity and a loyal community behind it. Hearing more about the mindset behind ROAMR Clothing, the realities of building a business through social media, and balancing ambition with consistency has been incredibly valuable, especially for young people considering entrepreneurship or alternative career paths. It's also been incredibly important to hear more about the Check on Your Mates initiative and the story behind it. Conversations around mental health and checking in on the people around us are so important, and it's powerful to see a platform being used to encourage those conversations and in honour of Phoenix's memory in a super meaningful way. If you or someone you know is struggling, please know that support is available and you don't have to go through things alone. We've included links to organisations and support services in the description of this episode if you need them. Thanks again for your time, and don't forget to follow the conversation and keep an eye on what's next for ROAMR Clothing. We'll be back with more episodes of Take a Seat in the autumn. Let us know in the comments if there's someone specific you'd like to see on the podcast. Thanks again for watching. Bye.